Hi, today's video is on the long-run aggregate supply curve. So macro has two schools of thought, New Classical and Keynesian. Today's lesson will focus on the New Classical model of aggregate supply, which involves the long-run aggregate supply curve. Long-run aggregate supply is defined as the total output of goods and services produced by the economy when all resources are fully employed at the natural rate of unemployment. And the long run is the period of time where all resource prices change to match changes in price level. Remember, this is really important as it's unique to the New Classical model. So here's a diagram showing long-run equilibrium in the New Classical model. The long-run aggregate supply curve, or LRAS, is vertical at potential output, or YP. The economy is in long-run equilibrium when aggregate demand and SRAS intersect to any point on the LRAS curve. If they intersect to the left of the LRAS curve or to the right, then the economy is in disequilibrium. So, potential output, or YP, is the total output the economy can produce when all resources are fully employed. At potential output, the economy has the natural rate of unemployment. Demand deficient or cyclical unemployment is 0. LRAS is vertical at YP, which shows that regardless of price level, the economy will always produce potential output in the long run. So what makes the curve vertical? We established that resource prices change to match price level in the long run. So as price level rises, costs of production rise and firms won't gain any extra profit. There's no incentives for firms to raise their output. If price level falls, they don't have any incentives to decrease output. So, one of the key points in the New Classical model is that the economy always returns to YP automatically in the long run. Recessionary gaps or inflationary gaps can only exist in the short run. So, a recessionary gap is when short-run equilibrium GDP is less than YP due to insufficient aggregate demand. This indicates cyclical unemployment or unemployment greater than the natural rate. An inflationary gap is when short-run equilibrium GDP is more than YP due to excess aggregate demand. This indicates that unemployment is less than the natural rate. So why does the economy always move back to potential output? It's all to do with the fact that wage and resource prices change to match changes in price level. So here we have an economy that is in long-run equilibrium, but imagine the aggregate demand falls so that the AD curve shifts left, causing a recessionary gap. Here, real GDP has fallen to Y2. Less output is being produced, so we can infer that firms need less workers and so unemployment rises. Unemployment is greater than the natural rate of unemployment, since we are at Y2, which is lower than YP. This means that the quantity supplied of labour by workers is greater than the quantity demanded by firms, or there is a surplus in the labour market. So, firms decrease wages until this surplus is eliminated. Falling wages and falling other resource prices means that costs of production falls. Therefore, short-run aggregate supply shifts right, moving the economy back to YP. Hence, the economy has moved back to potential output automatically. Here, the economy is at equilibrium, but imagine the aggregate demand rises and the AD curve shifts right, causing an inflationary gap. Real GDP rises to Y2, so we can infer a fall in unemployment. Unemployment falls below the natural rate since Y2 is greater than YP. This shows that there is a shortage in the labour market, and the quantity demanded of labour by firms is greater than the quantity supplied by workers. Firms therefore have to pay higher wages to keep their existing employees. This is known as a tight labour market. Wages and other resource prices increase, increasing firms' cost of production, causing the short-run aggregate supply curve to shift left. The economy moves back to potential output automatically. Here we only have an increase in price level. So what are the main conclusions from this? In the new classical model, fluctuations in real GDP, which means recessionary or inflationary gaps, can only occur in the short run. In the long run, the economy will always return to potential output at long-run equilibrium. And the key assumption here is that wages and other resource prices are flexible and change to match price level. In the next video, we'll be looking at the Keynesian view of aggregate supply, where we don't assume wage flexibility. Thank you, and stay tuned for the next video.